Happy Tuesday! I thought it would be fun to show you guys a week of training. So we're starting off the week with a high threshold session, meaning it's going to be slightly higher heart rate and more closer to race effort than what I usually do. And that is because my goal race, which I haven't actually announced yet, but I guess it's time, is the CIM marathon on December 7th. And before we get into my week of training, I want to remind you that you guys are just seeing 1 week of my training, and it's so easy that when you see this week, which by the way is a harder week, that you think, oh my gosh, that is so much training. And at least the way I train is very periodized, meaning that it's definitely not, the same week every week. In fact, my training is heavily periodized, so last week I actually had 2 rest days and a very easy week. And then this week is a rest day on Monday. So some days or some weeks I actually don't have a rest day, but I did have a rest day yesterday. So this training week is hard in a different way because I have a 35-kilometer long run on Saturday, and then I have a zone 3 run the day after that. So that's how I'm putting that extra stress and making it hard. Versus some weeks it will be hard because the volume is super high. Some weeks it will be high because I have more volume at a higher intensity. There's so many different ways of putting that stress on the body. But the key is to have that be very strategic and followed up with recovery. So let's get into a week of training. Can we talk about all the bruises I've gotten from my deep tissue work? This is actually just from my boyfriend Oscar massaging me, but he does this every day as part of my recovery. Let me know in the comments if you want me to walk you through everything I do to recover. Today's session is 10-minute warm-up, 10-minute cool down at max 140 heart rate. Again, this is based on my heart rate. So my max heart rate is 197, so that's about 70% of my max. And then I'm doing 30 times 45-15, meaning 45 seconds of running and 15 seconds of standing break at 175 to 180 heart rate. But I don't get up to that heart rate towards more of the middle of the workout. And that's only if the legs are feeling good, which they should now. And then a 10-minute cool down, again at max 140. If you're one of my athletes, you know that I love having a focus for the week, and I also love having a focus for the session. So today, my session is going to be to be really present and focused on my session, meaning that I'm going to try and not film. I know this sucks for you guys, so I'm going to try to not film so that I can really be focused. And then instead, I'm going to film at the 10th rep and the 20th, and then at the end. So I'm just gonna really focus on my form. I'm gonna focus on listening to the legs and building up that heart rate gradually and the pace gradually. There's no rush to get to that heart rate. It's really being able to listen to your body, and when your body feels warm and ready, then you get up there. So let's go. At the 10th rep. The hardest part is slowing down those first reps, having that knee controlled. So my heart rate was at 170. Okay, 352. Trying to hold the pace steady, not increase. 28th rep. Now I'm really pushing it. I'm really focusing. Staying at that 175 to 180 heart rate. Focusing on how this effort feels. Race effort. I just finished, and at the end, I was definitely tired. And you know how I talked about how it's so important that these sessions are controlled? So I need control compared to what the intent of the session is. So what I do is low threshold training, meaning that it's very sustainable effort. And that way I'm able to do more volume. And then what happens is that we then take down the volume, like on this session, when I then do the higher lactate, higher heart rate, and definitely the last 10, then I was working. Like that was very close to my 5K pace. And now for the cool down. So I just start the cool down with running super slowly because the heart rate lags. Although because I walked a little bit while I talked to you guys, my heart rate is now at 135. But still, I just go by feel. And for my athletes who are just starting out, the heart rate will stay high for a little bit. And then what I say to them is to just go as slow as possible. My favorite habit is going in the ocean after my runs. I don't care if my workout clothing gets more ruined. This is so worth it. It's actually pretty cold. One of the things that I've been really bad at in the past is relaxing. And when I say relaxing, I mean just having periods of the day where I don't have to be doing anything. And that includes recovery. Because I think the biggest tip I have when it comes to recovery is, if you're anything like me, it's literally just to have less on your to-do list. If you know my story, I used to work for a startup and I was a fitness instructor. So I had 2 jobs and I also would bike back and forth to work while I was marathon training. So I basically had 0 downtime. And then when I moved from Norway to San Diego to get my MBA was also really stressful. I was at that time strength training a lot. So I was running, strength training, getting my MBA, and I started a protein muffin company in addition. So trust me, I know what it's like to have a very busy schedule, and I was really good at multitasking. So finding ways to listen to my class readings while I was running, or talking to friends while I was driving, or just like doing stuff always. So what I've really focused on now is having my downtime scheduled after my workouts. So for example, right now I'm just lying in bed and I don't have to do anything. I'm working on not even being on my phone and working, just laying there meditating or just listening to music, trying to sleep. And I know that it can be very difficult to have the time to do this if you're in an era of your life like I was with my MBA or with kids. I totally get it, and I'm not saying that if you can't do this it's a problem, but just even being aware of that, okay, now you're in this era where it is a little bit more go, but then changing your workout schedule so that you're not constantly burning the candle on both ends. That's a tip. And then if you can change your work schedule or wake up a little bit earlier, go to bed earlier, then I highly recommend it, because I have seen truly a difference in how much training I'm able to do now after I started taking rest seriously. This is why I get my bruises.
Also,
No. Oh my god. Foster, it's so bad. No, too hard. Woo! know your foam roller is good when you prioritize bringing it even when you're traveling. And the key with foam rolling is really, like with anything else, consistency over duration. I really like this brand Rolga. I have a link in the description. And the first time you use it, it's gonna feel really awkward, like this does not work. But then as you get used to it, trust me, you're gonna love it. You ready?
Oh yes.
You sure you can keep up?
Oh no.
Everyone always is concerned when other people run with me, but you guys know I train on heart rate, and if anything, I'm more okay with going too slow than faster.
That's why you have me here.
You're actually not slow. On the last run, I told you to slow down. It is Wednesday, running day 2, and today I have a 1.5 hour run, which sounds crazy long, but it's at max 140 heart rate and lactate 1, which to me means just going as easy as I really need to. My legs don't feel sore at all, which is awesome after that harder session yesterday, and as expected, because the session yesterday was really just priming my body for Thursday session, which is going to be hard because it's higher intensity and a little bit more volume, but still not a lot of volume compared to what I do at low threshold. This is so cool. One of the things that I'm so much better at now is really not caring how slow it goes. So right now we're at 120 heart rate. Oscar just left me to do some strength training on Muscle Beach. I think that's what it's called. And I just want to talk about how with running, it's so easy to get caught up in paces. For example, today, my pace is quite a bit slower for this heart rate target than it's been. But that doesn't mean I'm not making progress. That is just because I have fatigue from yesterday's hard session. So not measuring that progress, instead just focusing on the fact that today it should feel easy. I want to be at that max that heart rate and trusting the process. And the more you do this and the more you see that it's working, it will get way easier. But if you can't do it and you don't stay consistent with this type of method, you're not going to see that progress and you're not going to do it. I just meditated and I only had 5 minutes, and I just feel like, especially when I'm with other people and like today when I then have a long run, that I want to hurry. I don't want to take up more time. But even getting those 5 minutes of meditation and seeing on my Garmin that my stress decreased by so much, I just love numbers. So that just made me feel even more relaxed. So this is your sign to try meditating. And when it comes to having any habit really stick, it's so important, at least for me, to understand why you're doing it. How is it benefiting you, not just stealing your time? Because you can hear me talk about meditation, you can hear me talk about journaling, you can hear another person talk about it, and you're not going to actually do it unless you understand how it's actually helping you in your life, not just stealing whatever time it takes to do it. Ultimate question is if we can get in. Today's workout is 10-minute warm-up at max 2,000 meters, which actually is half of what I've done before, but today it's at race effort. So for me, that's 175 to 180 heart rate and on feel, and then a 10-minute cool down, and then I have 2 minutes break in between to fully recover, so my heart rate will drop quite low. And the first repetitions, I'm starting off slower, so I'm going to give myself a speed limit because heart rate lags. It's going to take a while for my heart rate to get up there, and I definitely want to ease into the pace, especially when I'm doing a higher intensity run like today. My heart rate shoots up every time I film, so I'm not going to film too much during this workout.
There she goes.
I needed this workout. Marathon training can be so hard just with feeling like you're putting in so much work, and then sometimes it feels like it doesn't show up in the numbers because you're accumulating a lot of fatigue from session to session. This feels so good. I'm gonna go wait in the car because one of the things I've gotten way better at now that I'm really focused on my training is not walking as much, just day to day. So even yesterday, the others walked to the restaurant, I literally drove because yes, rest is king. It is now Friday and today I'm running an hour and 15 minutes at max 120 heart rate. I've been in this weird mode this morning because I actually feel really good. I have zero soreness, which is just insane, but then I have a lot of worry. I know with time it's gonna get way better as I just get the confidence through getting through more of these cycles, but I have worry that I'm overdoing it and that I'm more tired than I am. It's destructive. Now my pace is quite a bit slower for this same heart rate, but that's as expected after that hard of a training session. And as you guys know, that's what I love about heart rate, that it reflects the internal stress you put on your body so that you adapt. Oscar is about to come back from spending basically the whole day showing his family around in San Diego. And now I'm gonna do red light and meditate, and then I'm gonna soak my feet, and then I'm gonna go to bed early. Today I'm running 35K. It's my longest run or training run. 35 kilometers at max 140. Just starting off extra slow and easy. Body's feeling good, but just listening to the legs. Not in a rush to get that heart rate up or to hit a certain pace. Just talked to my mom for the first 12K. I'm feeling super strong and pace is faster for this heart rate. $17.5K. I'm halfway and I'm feeling really good. Every time I feel good and I want to go faster, I remind myself that it's the total of the training that matters. Tomorrow is actually going to be the hardest part of the whole week. I'll have fatigue legs, and I'm gonna do heart rate 150 to 155, which is what usually people run their easy runs. So 150 to 155 on tired legs. Woo! Tomorrow's gonna be hard. $25K. This is runner's high. I feel like my brain is just so clear and I don't care about anything else. My AirPods just died at kilometer 27. I'm so sad I can't talk to anyone. I can't listen to music. But that means I can focus more on my body and how I feel. Mr. Massage Therapist. Oh. We're getting chocolate croissants. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I'm obsessed with chocolate croissants. But Oscar parked the car so far away, and I am minimizing walking. I feel great. I want to say it's not that I'm minimizing walking and moving around because I feel tired. Not at all. It's because I generally want to improve my recovery. Hence, Oscar is getting the car, and I'm just gonna sit down here. Hold on. Sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts and carrots, and rice. It's Sunday and I have the last run of the week and the hardest run because yesterday I ran 35 kilometers, and because of the whole week, as expected, my resting heart rate is higher. But the most important thing I pay attention to as a coach and as an athlete myself is how I feel. And I actually feel really good. I'm likely gonna have a little bit of a down. So when I then do rest, I will probably feel a little bit more tired. My body's still in this kind of like fight or flight mode. What I love about knowledge and experience is that having been through this now a couple of times, I feel so much more confident in what I'm doing, and I don't go into this state of crisis. So today's run is an hour and 30 minutes at heart rate 150 to 155. I'm not gonna film that much while I run because I'm gonna try to concentrate, but here's how I'm gonna be thinking. The first 10 minutes, I'm going extra slow. My energy needs to be controlled, really listening to the body. How do I feel? How are my legs doing? Any like pain? Really concentrating. And then usually if I feel good, my legs just kind of naturally pick up the pace after about 10 minutes. If I just start feeling worse and worse, that's my sign that I need to just chill out on that workout. Last thing, so because I am more tired today, I can definitely feel it in my body. My pace is a little bit slower than usual for this heart rate, but instead of focusing on that, I'm focusing on how good I feel considering this hard week. And for this run, I'm breaking it up into 3. So I'm only focusing on each 30-minute at a time. Look who I met! Well, I just finished my hard week I'm amazed by how good I feel. And now I'm gonna go shower. Food relax. How cute is this? We have matching sweaters. This is crazy beautiful. And that was a week of training in my life. Hopefully you guys have learned something. That's really my goal with my channel, is to just teach you guys everything that I know. And if you want to train like me on heart rate targets and time on feet, then check out my training plans. I have 5K plans, 10K plans, half marathon and marathon, and I'm also a coach. So fill out my form if you're wanting to work one-on-one with me. And if you're curious how my 5K time trial went, then check out that video next.